To the money desk now, Devin Murugan. So back to our focus theme for immigration and the skills exodus in our country. No doubt the immigration numbers of late are a concern.
Yeah, absolutely. Good afternoon, Musejo. So there have been countless surveys highlighting the impact of immigration from South Africa. And those two big factors, the shrinking tax base and the loss of skills, have been the most concerning. Most of these surveys cite safety, employment, and then, of course, more recently, we've had concerns over power cuts. Those have been the push factors out of South Africa. So the Department of Home Affairs and Statistics in South Africa doesn't really back up much of the immigration data, so they don't track that. But it's interesting to see what the United Nations does when it comes to keeping that migrant stock in place. And I'm going to just give you a sense of the overall output in terms of those leaving South Africa over the last few decades. Here's what the United Nations says. All right, in 2020, we've seen 914,000 South Africans taking up residency outside the country. Huge number, just below a million. But of course, when you look at 2015, you'll see that number was as low as 786,000, which means over those last 5 years, between 2015 and 2020, there certainly was indeed a huge outflow out of South Africa. The latest update from Stats SA or Stats Australia will focus on two countries. There's a whole lot of them, but Stats Australia, let's take a look at that. And it shows that by the end of 2021, there were 201,000 South Africans staying or taking up residency in that country. If you look at how far that number is up compared to 2020, that's 2,230 more. Again, citing similar reasons when some of these immigrants in Australia are surveyed: power cuts, education opportunities, safer environments. But that's the Australian picture for you. Let's take a look at another country that seems to be popular with those leaving South Africa: New Zealand. Now, a fact coming out earlier this year from New Zealand, and this is Stats, the Stats organization officially from New Zealand reporting on migration data. It shows that just from January to May this year alone, there have been more than 11,000 applications that have been accepted and are currently being processed from South Africa for residents seeking residency in New Zealand. It gives you a bit of a picture in terms of the migration data. You know, the first half of 2022, as I said, already showing more applications to move to the island nation than ever before. So that's a broad picture of what's happening. Of course, the other big country, or the other big choice, popular choice for South Africans of late in recent months, has been Canada as well. We'll give you more details as the afternoon progresses. Now, South Africa's population is expected or is estimated at 60.6 million. That's the official count announced today by Statistics South Africa. Stats SA says Gauteng still has the largest share of the South African population. Those are the census officials that were taken out on those notes earlier on in the year. Back to Gauteng, approximately 16.1 million people living in the province. That's more than 26% of the country's population. It tells you or it brings into question whether or not the province certainly has the resources and the infrastructure to keep up. In the next 5 years, Gauteng and the Western Cape are estimated to experience the largest inflow of migrants, with Gauteng estimated to see just under 1.5 million more people. That's in the next 5 years. The Western Cape expected to grow by more than 450,000. Those figures coming up earlier this morning from Stats SA.